What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what shorts did, and everything that really influenced SoFi today. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi did go down 2.93%, as well as pretty much the whole market. There's a couple outliers that did do okay today, but pretty much everything got hit because of several things, not just one. I'm going to talk about all the things in a second, but $7.61 the low, pretty much first thing once it started to sell off, and then $7.90 the high. As far as volume, 34.1 million shares being traded, 41.4 is the average. Majority of the volume did come from algorithmic trading. You can tell that a lot of barcoding right here. And aside from that, actual entities getting in and out. As far as the transactions on the secondary market, not the most optimistic. So you did see a lot of selling right here, especially after hours. So 1.06, 8.72 million during the trading day, somewhat evenly divided, some buying and some selling. And a lot of that is stemming from just the grayness of everything. So starting off, you have war, or at least the kind of precursor for war coming from the Middle East. So a lot of developments have come during the trading day for that, spooked the broader market. At the same time, you did have manufacturing data coming in at 47.3 versus forecast of 47. So even though it is a slight improvement, still below 50, so showing more of a contraction in the broader market. So that does really influence the interest rates. You also had the job openings, 8.04 million versus 7.6. So kind of like, it's good that there's a lot of jobs, but at the same time, it does insinuate that people don't want them. So it's not the best. And especially that's piggybacking off of what Powell said yesterday, that the labor market is very, very important to watch. Even more so, more important than GDP. Very bold statement, as I brought up yesterday, but so far, just a lot of data points didn't really play out. And as a byproduct of everything, with the exception of war, you are seeing kind of this go down. So the likelihood of a 50 basis point cut for the November 7th. And in my opinion, last week, it was pricing in this 50 basis points. So it's a lot of different things, all really influencing just the broader market, and through that, SoFi. Despite all of that though, SoFi actually did announce the date of their Q3 earnings. So it is slated for Tuesday, October the 29th at 7 a.m. So as I said 2 videos ago, historically, the last 2 earnings, from the date that they do announce their earnings up until their date, so basically from now up until October the 29th, on average, SoFi does go up around 13%. So we'll wait and see if that does happen this time around, or if there's just too many levels of fear in the broader market. But again, something to keep in mind. As far as shorts, they did return 145,000 shares net. So they were actually kind of quiet today rather than anything, but still they did return. So in my opinion, by analyzing this, I see that obviously like they didn't feel like today's sell-off was justified, because moving over here, there's more than 10 million shares available to be shorted. So if they really did feel everything that was happening in the broader market was justifying SoFi to go down and possibly even more, they could easily just double down, because it's very cheap to short SoFi. Cost to borrow average is 0.78. You do see some signs of manipulation. Once again, cost to borrow minimum is negative. It's not all that much. Again, it's only negative 0.2%, but still, I think it's a principle rather than anything that there is someone still really trying to drum up short selling for SoFi. But aside from that, 17.49% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 182.94 million shares overall are being shorted. As I said in my pre-market video, I do feel that shorts are going to be rather timid up until Friday. Unemployment, that's going to be a very, very important point to watch for the broader market. And that's not counting escalation of war, because I believe that the states, or Biden did state that they were going to really defend Israel. So it's that could really spiral into something even greater. We'll just have to wait and see. I think this kind of back and forth did happen, what was it, like 4 months ago, 5 months ago? It's all blending together now, but that did diminish after the first back and forth. So we'll wait and see if this does again develop into something greater. But as of right now, looking at options, 4.59 million in calls, 2.03 million in puts. 49% of all the options being done today were bearish. And of the call options that were purchased, there's a consensus for it to be roughly around that 8 to 850 somewhat. And then looking at puts, you do see consensus for it to be sub 750. So in my opinion, still a little bit more upside is anticipated based on that. No matter what though, options is just a sentiment. It does not move the stock price whatsoever. And in my case, I actually did do some SoFi options today. When it did bounce off of this, I took advantage and I sold some $8 calls, same as last week. So free money, essentially. It's not a lot. I think it's going to get like, I don't know, $40, $50, something like that, but still, money is money. But if you guys did the same thing, or if you guys did the opposite, if you guys sold calls, if you bought puts, let me know in the comments below. And on a side note, even again, I say this a lot, highly recommend you guys researching options if you guys don't know it. Very profitable. But aside from that, with it closing at $7.63, slightly above or below this S1, so trading between this S2 and this S1. So going into the next couple trading days, 755 is going to be the next strong support that you want to watch for. That wasn't tested today, so kind of a good thing, but $7.68 is going to be that next strong resistance / target. So yeah, we'll just have to kind of wait and see how everything does play out. As far as data points tomorrow, you do have employment, and so that one's going to be, again, okay. You have a couple Fed speakers. Thursday, you have initial jobless claims, and then also then on Friday, you have payroll, and then the dreaded unemployment, which right now the forecast is 4.2. So a lot of that is going to move the broader market. Today, you did see it transition from the higher to the lower percentile. It will maybe test that 200-day moving average possibly tomorrow, again, depending on everything. And conveniently, that 200-day moving average is this right here, so that S2, which wasn't tested again today. So just watch for a lot of these support levels, but I know SoFi has consolidated a lot ever since kind of the peak of the 19th for the most part. But it's actually holding up fairly well. A lot of other growth stocks are breaking down on a full technical level. SoFi is still somewhat holding up. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Based on the momentum indicator, does show that a lot of retail did sell. So not a lot of buying the dip kind of occurring. Same goes for institutions. Not a lot of entities are lining up to buy the SoFi dip. So if you did, give yourself a shout out in the comments below, or if you guys did options, hedging, or whatever else, let me know your thoughts on that. And just generally as a whole, are you guys optimistic? I know I did mention a lot of different things that's really influencing the broader market. Generally, are you guys optimistic? And when it comes down to war, do you think that's really going to directly affect, I know that would directly affect oil, which through that affects a lot of things, a lot of different sectors, but do you think it's really going to affect SoFi exactly and its customers? So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with all that, appreciate all of you guys watching.